The knock came just after midnight, not frantic, not polite, measured. When I opened the door, no one was there, just a folded sheet of paper left neatly against the frame. A note written in a hand I recognized immediately. "She's your burden now." Beside it lay the bundle, my granddaughter, barely 2 months old, skin pale, fists trembling. My daughter had been buried 3 days earlier, and now her husband, her widower, discarded the last piece of her as though she were trash. I stood there too long, staring at the paper, the ink bleeding in the night moisture. No tears came, only silence. I lifted the child and felt her heart beat. She clung to me as if she already knew the truth. Her life was never meant to be protected by the man who gave her his name. That was 15 years ago. Now I sit in a courtroom, the same man across from me, a smirk tugging at the edge of his mouth. He wants her back. He calls her my daughter. The judge waits for me to speak, and I do. Calm, controlled, deadly precise. When he abandoned her, I said nothing. I raised the child in quiet resolve. She grew into fire and steel, my daughter's eyes, my discipline. I gave her everything he never could: safety, truth, dignity. And then, months ago, a letter arrived in his lawyer's voice. He claimed paternal rights, claimed I'd stolen his child, claimed he had been grieving all these years. I almost laughed, but laughter is weakness, and weakness invites predators. So I nodded when she asked why strange men were asking questions. I smiled when his lawyer accused me of poisoning her mind. I stayed silent when he painted himself as a father ready to heal. Inside, I cataloged each word, every falsehood, every calculated insult. He thought I'd be defenseless. He thought my grief had dulled into obedience. He never understood what 15 years of watching his daughter grow had taught me: patience sharpened into a weapon. I began my preparation quietly, not with arguments, but with evidence. Court records, abandonment statutes, the original note, yes, I'd kept it, folded, pressed flat, hidden away like a wound I never allowed to close. More than that, letters he wrote in those early days, trying to rid himself of responsibility. Emails riddled with bile, insisting she was not his problem. Every trace, every careless sentence, I archived. Then I went deeper. His financials, his public declarations, the life he lived while my granddaughter learned to crawl, walk, run. Vacations, affairs, lavish parties. Not a cent sent for her care. I gathered witnesses, the neighbors who saw him dump her at my door, the social worker I confided in when I wasn't sure I could manage, even his old drinking companions who remembered his drunken boasts about being free of her. I built the case piece by piece, brick by brick, all while smiling at family gatherings, all while telling her she would be fine, all while never once showing my hand. He thought silence meant defeat. He didn't know silence was the snare tightening around his throat. The day of the hearing, I carried a single envelope, slim, unassuming. When his lawyer rose, he spoke of reform, redemption, a man ready to embrace his child. He painted him as a victim of grief, a man who had suffered, a father denied his rights. I waited. Then I placed the envelope on the judge's bench. No flourish, no anger, just quiet certainty. Inside, the note he left, his handwriting, the declaration that she was my burden now. The courtroom fell into a vacuum. His face drained of color. His lawyer stammered. The judge read it twice, then a third time. I watched him crumble, not with fury, not with outbursts, with silence, with the weight of his own words dragging him under. He tried to speak. It was grief. I cut him off with a glance, cold, surgical. Grief doesn't abandon a child. He shrank into the chair. My granddaughter, sitting beside me, never looked at him. She stared forward, chin high, her silence sharper than anything I could say. The judge's ruling was swift. Custody denied. His petition dismissed with prejudice. I turned once, just enough for him to see the steadiness in my eyes. No anger, no triumph, only the truth he could never escape. 15 years he thought forgotten. 15 years I kept his betrayal alive in the folds of paper and memory. And now it devoured him. That night she asked if I hated him. No, I said, hate is a chain, and I will not wear his chains. She nodded. She understood. I watched her sleep, and I thought of my daughter, the one who died, the one who entrusted me, whether she knew it or not, with the only piece of her that survived. I had kept my promise, not to him, not even to the child, but to myself. The burden he left at my door had become my strength, and as for him, he would live knowing the truth, that his daughter was never his. She had been mine all along. Finality settled in me like stone. I closed the door to my past, just as I had opened it that night 15 years ago, only this time I did not pick up what was left behind.